Hi folks, hope you're doing well. I am back in Tokyo, Japan today. As a matter of fact, one block that way is the outer wall to the Imperial Palace, and one block this way is the famous Tokyo train station. But you know, I have a small group of people that I'm giving a tour to today in the Imperial Palace. They're walking around, they're checking things out, they're absolutely loving it. But you know, every single one of them made the same blunders when coming to Japan. It seems that sometimes, no matter how much advice I give, it doesn't stick, and they pay the price. And I don't want anyone paying the price. I want them to have a great time while they're here. I'm going to entitle this video, The Top 5 Blunders That People Make When Coming to Japan.
According to the Japan National Tourism Organization, more than 40 million people visit Japan each year. And after spending the past 2 decades leading tours through this amazing country, I can personally attest to the powerful appeal of this remarkable culture. I've had travelers join me not just once, but 2, 3, 4, 5, and even on 6 separate tours. And I understand exactly why. You see, Japan is so dramatically different from everywhere else in the world that it has a way of becoming addictive. But before my tour members ever set foot in Japan, we participate in a series of online video conferences to review the itinerary, discuss their expectations, confirm reservations, cover important details, and I answer every question imaginable. By the time the trip begins, most travelers feel thoroughly prepared for the experience ahead. Yet, despite all that preparation, there are still some people who quietly think to themselves, well, Carl may have decades of experience, but I'm going to do things my own way. And as you might expect, those are the same people who discover, usually the hard way, that there were good reasons behind my advice. In my experience, most of these skeptics end up paying a price for ignoring the guidance that could have saved them time, money, frustration, or embarrassment. And that's what this video is all about. I've narrowed down this video to 5 of the most common blunders that first-timers experience when traveling to Japan. Blunder number 1, pack light. When most people fly to the land of Japan, they definitely bring too much luggage. And I get it, I really do. You know, when you fly to Los Angeles, London, Paris, or Rome, your luggage is more than welcome there. But Japan is different, and there are 2 things that you need to know. First, Japan is a walking country. And second, their daily life is built around precision and efficiency, compact spaces, and public transportation, not oversized suitcases. Lots of walking and lots of bags don't go well together. Many tourists travel with big, heavy bags only to discover that navigating through train stations and stairways is tough, and luggage spaces fill faster than you would expect. And you can't enjoy Japan when you're frustrated and exhausted. The lighter you pack, the easier and more enjoyable your trip will be. And if you find yourself in need of a hairbrush, a pair of scissors, a couple of batteries, or a pair of shoelaces, don't worry. Japan's convenience stores and department stores are everywhere. And if you need something, you'll find it. Now, medication is a different story, and I will mention that later. But when it comes to Japan, packing less often means experiencing more. When I travel to Japan, I bring one mid-sized roller bag and a small knapsack. And if I need something, I'll buy it. Blunder number 2, bring the right shoes. Few things can ruin a trip to Japan faster than the wrong footwear. One of the most common mistakes that travelers make is bringing a brand new pair of shoes and expecting to break them in during your experience. As I stated earlier, Japan is a walking country, and it's not unusual to cover 5 to 7 miles of walking in a single day without even realizing it. In fact, during one busy day in 2018, I logged 11.7 miles on foot. Forget about fashion and focus on comfort. No one is going to be impressed with high heels, trendy sneakers, or stylish shoes that sacrifice your support. Instead, bring a pair of quality walking shoes that have already been broken in and still have plenty of life left in them. Purchase them about 3 months before your trip so they still look great, and wear them around. By the time you're traveling in Japan, your feet will thank you. Just imagine developing a painful blister on your 3rd day of the trip. Every step you take is a reminder of your mistake. By day 4, you're covering your feet with bandages and soaking them every evening, wondering how you're going to survive another day of seeing Japan. The right shoes will not make your trip memorable. The wrong ones certainly will. Blunder number 3. Thinking your way is the Japanese way. One of the biggest mistakes that travelers make in Japan is assuming that the customs and expectations they grew up with applies everywhere else. The people and customs are unlike yours, and people forget that they're not at home. They're nearly 8,000 miles away from home. Yet, many visitors approach Japan as if the local bakery in the city should operate like their favorite donut shop back home, or that businesses should make special exceptions simply because those exceptions make sense to them. The problem is that people often mistake familiarity with universality. Because their lifestyle feels normal to them, they assume it should be normal everywhere. Well, in Japan, the wrong mindset can come across as surprisingly rude, entitled, and downright disrespectful. When you visit another country, it isn't the country's responsibility to bend to your will. It's your responsibility to adapt to their culture. I'm reminded of a couple who made a reservation at a famous kaiseki restaurant in Osaka, Japan back in 2024. Their reservation was for 7 p.m. and they arrived at 7:30 p.m. Why? Well, because back home, being a little late's not a big deal. I mean, who cares? Well, unfortunately for them, Japan is not back home. In a culture where punctuality is considered a sign of respect, arriving 30 minutes late meant that their reservation had already been canceled. But instead of apologizing and accepting responsibility for their tardiness, they demanded to speak to the manager and complain like entitled brats. That was a terrible decision. Had they approached the situation with humility and respect, there's a good chance that the restaurant would have tried to help them and rebook their experience. You see, Japan has a long tradition of something called omotenashi, the spirit of sincere hospitality and doing everything possible to accommodate a customer. But hospitality works both ways. Once the couple began acting like spoiled children rather than appreciative visitors, the entire situation collapsed on itself. Rather than receiving assistance, they found themselves permanently banned at one of the finest restaurants in Japan. And here's the irony. After all that happened, as you can imagine, they blamed the restaurant. The reason why you're visiting Japan is because it's so different. And if it's so different, you need to realize that their way isn't your way. That's the point. You appreciate the differences. When your plane lands in Japan, remember that your habits, assumptions, and expectations are not the standard that they live to. The travelers who have the best experiences in Japan are usually the ones who arrive with curiosity, humility, and a willingness to learn how things are done locally. Japan doesn't need to become more like your home for you to enjoy it. In fact, the sooner you stop expecting that, the more you'll appreciate why you came to Japan in the first place. Blunder number 4, over-the-counter medicine. When people start packing for their trip to Japan, some tell themselves, well, if I need pain reliever, allergy medication, or cough syrup, I'm just going to buy it when I'm there. That is a mistake. Japan has an excellent healthcare system, and Japanese residents have a registration system, offering them access to medical care and prescription medicine through the country's universal health insurance system. But remember, you're not a Japanese resident. You're a tourist. That means you're paying retail prices and navigating an unfamiliar market when you need something. Many Americans are surprised by the selection of over-the-counter medications in Japan. The products are often sold in smaller quantities, and the cost per tablet can be much higher than what you're used to back home. For example, in the United States, it's common to buy a large bottle that contains hundreds of pain relief tablets for just a few dollars. But in Japan, you might find yourself paying considerably more for a small box containing only a fraction of that amount. There's also a familiarity issue. Many travelers know exactly what works for them. I've had tour members tell me, Tylenol doesn't really work for me. I always use Excedrin migraine. Now, imagine leaving that medication at home, flying halfway around the world, developing a pounding headache in Japan, and spending your entire afternoon in Tokyo searching 25 drugstores, desperately trying to find dozens of medications that will work for you. The same applies to allergy medications, ear medicine, blister treatments, pain reliever, and every other everyday remedy that you need. If there's a product that you rely on, don't assume you'll be able to find the exact equivalent in Japan when you need it the most. My advice is simple. If there's a reasonable chance you're going to need that medication during your trip, you bring it with you. A few extra ounces in your suitcase can make a big deal when you're traveling with unexpected discomfort on the other side of the planet. Blunder number 5, last-minute reservations. This final mistake is an absolute classic, and I see it happen all the time. I cannot begin to tell you how many travelers have said to me, I really want to eat at this restaurant, or there's an incredible geisha performance in Kyoto I would absolutely love to see. And then without missing a beat, they follow it up with, I'll get reservations when I'm there. That is a huge mistake. Japan is one of the most popular travel destinations in the world, attracting tens of millions of visitors every year. The country's most sought-after sake tastings, cultural experiences, guided tours, and special events often fill up weeks or even months in advance. By the time your plan lands in Narita, many of those experiences at the top of your wish list have already been booked and filled. Let me give you an example. I am good friends with one of the finest sushi chefs on the planet, Master Chef Takashi Ono. If you've seen the documentary Jiro Dreams of Sushi, then you know this man. Well, he and I are true friends, and even with my connections, I need to ask for seats about 3 months in advance, and that might be for 2 seats. Thanks to my connections and relationships, I get access to spots that are pretty impressive, and I need 3 months to plan. To think you can wing it when you're in Japan is simply unrealistic. What makes this particularly frustrating is the people that spend months researching, planning flights, hotels, and itineraries only leave the most important experiences to chance. They simply assume that when they're physically in Japan, they'll somehow be able to walk up to the front door and purchase a ticket, get a seat, or squeeze into an event. Unfortunately, that's not how many of Japan's most popular attractions operate. I've seen travelers miss out on famous sushi restaurants, exclusive kaiseki dinners, one-of-a-kind sumo wrestling events, fabulous tea ceremonies, memorable geisha performances, and specialty tours simply because they waited too long. The disappointment is especially painful when you've traveled about 8,000 miles to discover that the one thing you really want to do sold out months ago. If there's something that would genuinely make your trip to Japan special, maybe a restaurant, an attraction, a performance, or a wine tasting, do not wait. Research it online before your trip, contact them to find out whether reservations are required, and book it as early as possible. You can always cancel the plans later if necessary, but what you cannot do is create availability when none exists. The travelers who get the most out of Japan are the ones who plan the experiences they care about well before they arrive. When it comes to reservations in Japan, hope is not a strategy. Preparation is. Japan is one of the most extraordinary destinations on Earth, but it's also a country that operates on unique customs, expectations, and rhythms. The good news is that every one of these common mistakes is completely avoidable with a little preparation and an open mind. By learning from the experience of those who have traveled before you, you'll spend less time dealing with preventable frustrations and more time enjoying the incredible food, the culture, the extraordinary history, and the essence of their existence. My friends, travel smart, respect the culture, and take my suggestions, and you will quickly discover why visitors leave Japan and already begin planning their next trip back.
I truly hope you take my advice. Look, I've been coming to Japan now for 19 years. I have been in and out of this country more times than you could fathom. I have it down to a science. And I know when inexperienced people come to Japan, they make the same blunders over and over. Take my advice, and of course, as always, we provide helpful links and information beneath this video. And then as always, there's the Contact Us button. Click on it. You can contact me or my staff directly. For JourneyToJapan.com, back in Tokyo, Japan, I'm Carl Rosa. Thank you for watching.